go to.
Hey, look at that. Look who's in the saddle.
Yeah. I bet you miss being back in the studio.
I do, man. It's a different vibe.
Yeah.
For some reason, the seat feels lower than before. Did you change it?
Same height.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting shorter, getting older.
Maybe. It's the same.
That rain on the way over here was awful.
Yeah. It is awful. You know what I find comical, man? Because we have other people that do the same thing we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody does the same thing we do. But sometimes the competition just makes things petty. Like, we broadcasting at the same time we go live.
Yeah.
Like, you can do that anytime you want, but you want to be petty. But I'm just like, it is what it is. There's room for everyone to grow. I'm not trying to stifle anybody. I'm just like, it's funny to me at the end of the day. Comical.
Dude, half the people watch this not live anyway. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
like, it doesn't matter, man. You know? But we have some things that'll be coming up here soon that I'm working on behind the scenes. We're making some friends, Mike.
We are.
Yeah. Making some friends.
Might be a familiar face returning a little bit.
Yeah.
We need to go back to having guests, by the way.
Yeah, we will. We will. We're going to go back to having guests. We're going to be doing some things.
I think a weekly thing with Pledger would be nice to go along with a weekly thing from Jeff Garcia.
Yeah.
I think that's what we need to be doing, dude. And then more interviews.
Who Joe called him out. I'm not going to be petty like that. I just think it's comical sometimes, man. It's everybody can eat. It's a big platform. Everyone is welcome, dude. We're here to, and I'm here to help everybody.
And we've been doing this for a year and a half on this time slot.
Yeah. If anybody ever needs help, I'm here to help, dude. Anything anybody needs is doing the same thing we're doing. Reach out, man. I'll help you out.
Yeah.
You know, but we're going to be making some friends in big places, dude. So we'll see what happens.
Let's hear it. Let's do it.
Oh, you didn't miss nothing, dude. Just saying what it is, dude. That's all it is, man. Just talk, chatter behind the scenes. That's all it is. I'm ready to get into some chatter now with Stephen A. and LeBron James. Speaking of that, that's gonna be funny.
Welcome to another episode of the Area 210 podcast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast to you live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your host as it helps the show grow.
What's up, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? This is the Area 210 podcast coming at you live from the west side of San Antonio. My name is Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. Back in the saddle for the next 2 days. It feels good. It feels natural. It feels nice. How's everybody going? Everybody doing right now? Joe, how you feeling, my man?
I'm feeling good. It's funny. Look, they're already starting to speculate here. JHNSB. They're throwing shade at In the Building. I like it. Not throwing shade at In the Building. No, not at all, man.
That's one. Okay, Rudy and Mike
friends,
Taylor,
dude.
we're not throwing shade at.
No.
In fact, I'm trying to have lunch with Rudy J tomorrow, man. So you're kind of hanging out. I was just texting Rudy J the other day, and he was like, hey, when you're back in town, we need to get together and grab some lunch, man. Maybe talk some business. So that's pretty exciting times. But just got in. So the show started about 5 minutes late because I was driving in from Conroe. I left with perfectly enough time to get here in time for the show, but it rained, Joe, the entire way over here. It was brutal. But I literally just walked into the room about 2 minutes ago. But we have a lot to get into today. You know, typically we talk sports, pop culture, nostalgia. But really, we're going to be talking about beef today.
Yeah, beef.
Beef between LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith got ratcheted up yesterday. Again today. They're throwing bombs at each other. We got to pick sides here, right?
Yeah, I forgot to put on my MCS hat, dude.
Brian Windhorst was also caught in the crossfire. He's just, you know, what is it, collateral damage?
What did they call him? Windy? Not Wendy.
Yeah. So let's kind of get into that. We'll talk about the Spurs back in action tonight against the Cavaliers. We'll talk a little more about the NFL and some of the moves that are going on right now. But we got to talk about the beef that's going on between Stephen A. Smith of ESPN and LeBron James. LeBron James was on the Pat McAfee show yesterday, and he brought up the fact that he and Stephen A. Smith don't get along. So for those of you who don't remember, a couple weeks ago, Stephen A. Smith was at a Knicks game. Stephen A. Smith was at a Knicks game, and the Knicks were taking on the Lakers. And LeBron James comes over to Stephen A. Smith and gives him an earful in front of everybody, in front of the whole world to see. Right, it became a very viral moment. And Stephen A. Smith professionally took it on the chin. Just stood there, didn't say anything. Right. So why was LeBron James mad? LeBron James was mad because Stephen A. Smith criticized his handling of Bronny James. Bronny James being drafted in the second round by the Lakers last year. By the way, Bronny's been playing better. He had his best performance ever a few days ago. But that being said, LeBron was there defending himself as a dad, defending his son. And Stephen A. Smith says, hey, look, all the criticism that Bronny gets isn't because of Bronny. It's because of you.
Yeah.
It's because you made him play in the first game of the season when no one drafted number 55 or whatever it was, who averaged 5 points per game in college, who had a heart issue, is going to be playing in the NBA that early. The only reason why is because of nepotism, and he called him out. It says you're not doing your son any favors, and he's been saying that for a while, and guess what? Everyone agrees. Okay? LeBron James, though, took some umbrage, I guess you could say. He got pissed off. He got in his feels, and when he saw Stephen A. Smith, gave him an earful. Stephen A. Smith didn't do anything, right? Didn't say anything, right? Stephen A. Smith later on says, hey, I said what I said. I meant what I said, and it just is what it is, right? So, a couple of things happened yesterday. Pat McAfee had LeBron James on his show. So, Pat McAfee, get this, is co-workers with Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
They both work for the worldwide leader, ESPN. But McAfee is his own thing, dude. Okay, there's two pillars at ESPN. It's Pat McAfee and Stephen A. Smith. And he allowed LeBron James to attack Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if you have that photo or that video they was showing, because Stephen A. Smith at some point said, hey man, if LeBron James had tried to lay hands on me, I would have been swinging. Right. So I would have been swinging. So LeBron James clapped back on the Pat McAfee show by basically pointing out the fact that there's video of Stephen A. Smith fighting or doing boxing back in the day. It wasn't boxing, but he was just doing training.
Yeah.
And Stephen A. Smith did not look that good.
No. It would be LeBron James got a clip of him trying to get ready for some, I guess, celebrity boxing match. And Stephen A's like, I had 2 torn rotator cuffs. And like, bro, you just look bad. Just say it. You know?
Right.
I was out of shape. I didn't look good. It is what it is. You know?
And he basically said, hey man, that's not the way that I throw down, man. You know, because he would throw down.
Stephen A. Smith, is he intimidating?
No.
Like, come on, dude. What
Not
are you
at
gonna
all.
do? And that's the thing with some of these guys, man. They talk a big game. You know, even like anybody else. Oh yeah, man, I'm intimidating. Yeah, I'll throw hands. No, you won't. I promise you won't.
And more often than not.
Promise you won't.
More often than not, they won't.
The ones that say, oh, I'm going to throw hands, they ain't going to throw hands. Oh, I'm going to do something, you ain't going to do shit. But you know what? The quiet ones that don't say nothing, they don't like talking shit like me. You come up to me and you want to get stupid, I'll throw hands.
And you never know, man. You sometimes have people in certain situations rise to the occasions. There are a lot of people who are like, man, I'm a man's man. I'm an alpha man. I'm a whatever. But when crap goes down, don't do anything. But then there's others who are quiet. You never know what's going to happen, Joe.
Yeah.
You never know. I'm pretty soft-spoken, dude. You know, I'm a pretty nice guy. But as I mentioned before, I'm 1-0 in Fiesta fights. Okay? I annihilated somebody because of him going after my ex or whatever. By the way, here's the video. Here's the video on my screen.
I got the video up too.
Okay, I have it right here of the fighting that Stephen A. Smith was doing in his training.
That's you want to know.
And LeBron giving Stephen A. Smith crap about that.
Hey.
But
what are we doing, Mike?
It's the only way I can find the video. It's called the fumble, right? So anyway, you see LeBron James go on ESPN on Pat McAfee's show and just basically roast Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith comes back today and says, hey man, I would have laid hands on you. I would have done something to protect myself. First of all, Stephen A. Smith, tall guy, right? About 6'2", 6'3". I've been in the same room as him. He's a tall dude.
Yeah.
He ain't 6'9" like LeBron James. He ain't 270 like LeBron James.
It's not nasty.
If Stephen A. Smith had gotten punched one time by LeBron James, he'd be on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay, first and foremost, right? But LeBron James, if you're 6'9" and you're 7 inches taller than the person and you're 50, 60, 70 pounds heavier than the person that you're criticizing, you're not a tough guy.
Nah.
Not a tough guy at all. If you're ever going to say, hey, I want to fight somebody and they're smaller than you, shorter than you, way less than you, whatever the case would be, that doesn't make you a tough guy. Not at all. Do we have any sound from LeBron James, by the way? Because I found this to be interesting of him going off and saying what he said. I have on my page here.
I can get it. It's right here. I had it ready to go.
Yeah, let's see what LeBron has to say.
All right, let's go ahead and play this. It's from courtesy of the Pat McAfee Show
on ESPN.
Hey, legit, that feels like a moment that had been brewing for a long time.
He's like on a Taylor Swift tour run right now.
Oh yeah, we're watching it. Yep. We're all.
Oh yeah,
you're seeing it as well.
He literally. It started off with, I didn't want to address it.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't want to address it. I wasn't going to address it, but since the video came out, I feel the need to address it.
Yeah, went viral. You would be not to talk about it.
Are you kidding me? If there's one person that couldn't wait to the video to drop so you could address it, it's your ass. Like seriously, it's and like another. He completely like missed the whole point. The whole point. Never would I ever not allow people to talk about the sport, criticize players about what they do on the court. That is your job to criticize or to, be in a position where, okay, if a guy's not performing, that is all part of the game. That's all part of the game. But when you take it and you get personal with it, it's my job to not only protect my damn household, but protect the players, and I think a lot of the media, including him, and I know he's gonna be happy as hell. He's gonna be smiling from ear to ear when he hears me talking about him again. Oh my God, he's gonna get home and grab some ice cream out of the fucking freezer and sit in his chair in his tighty whities on the couch.
I hope at some point you two do get a chance. But you're right.
Dude, relax, bro. Relax. Seriously.
That might be the first. That might be the first time I've ever heard LeBron James throw F-bombs off the court. Right?
Yeah.
So we need to unpack the idea that Pat McAfee's allowing LeBron James to go off on a coworker. Well, we'll unpack that a little bit later. But LeBron James saying that he is out there protecting his family, protecting his teammates. No, he's protecting his son. His son, who probably at this point in time did not deserve to be an NBA player. A son that he said he wanted to play with, right? And threatened other teams if they drafted him. And it's nepotism is what it is, right? Now, Stephen A. Smith clapped back a little bit by saying he's butthurt. Using the phrase butthurt, okay? So we can show my screen real fast. Here is Stephen A. Smith on First Take, courtesy of ESPN, saying that there's a root reason as to why LeBron James is quote-unquote butthurt.
The reason for the butthurt.
The reason for the butthurt is not because he went after Bronny, not because of anything like that, but his own vanity, saying that because, according to Stephen A. Smith, and according to the vast majority of sports fans, doesn't matter how many points this guy gets, LeBron ain't the GOAT.
He puts out some page about me, boxing and all of this other stuff from a decade ago with 2 torn rotator cuffs. Fine, no problem. It's very, very embarrassing video. I'll be the first to say and all that stuff, even though I like it to be left up there, because if people think I want to throw hands like that, that's how I throw hands. Knock yourself out. I'm good with it. I know that the man I am today is not the man that I was a decade ago, physically or beyond. I can tell you that. So we get that out the way. Why do I bring that up? Because that's how petty you've become. You're LeBron James. You that butthurt over the things that I'm saying, that you would post that video. When has LeBron James ever done something like that? But suddenly you're doing that as it pertains to me. This man is in his feelings. I wonder why. Could it be because I don't believe you're the GOAT? Because I'll never believe you're the GOAT? Because I have you number 2 at all times? Do I have to have ESPN and First Take put up the ticker tape right now and say, yo, could you put that up there, please? Great father, great husband, great philanthropist, great businessman, great director, great producer, great host, great basketball player, great leader. I mean, my God, I have done everything but put diapers and a bib on this brother. But it ain't enough, because one thing matters to him and one thing only, and that's him being recognized as the greatest of all times. Well, you're not in my book. That belongs to Michael Jordan. He puts out
Michael Jordan, of course, 6 championship rings, right? Went to the NBA Finals 6 times, won all 6 times.
Yeah.
LeBron James, 4 championship rings, but he's been to the NBA Finals 10 times. So been more often than Michael, but Michael still has 2 more rings. Michael also won with just one team, the Chicago Bulls.
He didn't have to have a super team.
2 3-peats. Didn't have to have a super team. So let's talk about that super team. The super team being the Miami Heat.
Miami Heat, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James.
So Stephen A. Smith criticized LeBron James earlier today by saying, no one ever brings this up, but Kobe's funeral, where were you?
Yeah.
And then he goes off to say, Dwayne Wade got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Naismith Memorial, Springfield, Massachusetts. Where were you? You were invited. You had business meetings instead. So part of being the GOAT is not only what you do on the court, it's your relevance in the media, your relevance to society, but it's also what you give back, right? And Stephen A. Smith is basically there saying, look, man, you're not the GOAT. That's why you're mad. And there's nothing you can do to be the GOAT. Even if he matched Michael Jordan, and let's say he took the Lakers, he and Luka Doncic won the title this year and got number 5. And then let's say at the age of 43, 44, he gets number 6. Guess what? Still not the GOAT. And part of it's because he's petty. So, Joe, if I have to ask you this question, who's winning this public relations spat? Is it Stephen A. Smith at ESPN? Is it LeBron James? Who is the winner of all of this? The real winner of all this is ESPN. But between those two, who got the 10-9 win this round?
The fans did. And you know why? Because this is nothing more than entertainment. And you got to ask yourself for the timing, right? They had done this before, right?
Yeah.
Little spat came out, both said something, it passed. The timing is the thing that I have a big question mark about.
Yeah.
What's going to happen here in about another month? NBA playoffs, right? What does everybody like to talk about? The Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
What does ESPN like to talk about? The Lakers. Entertainment. That's what this is. It's just pure entertainment. And that's all it is. It's to get more eyes on the Lakers, to get them, get everybody hyped about, oh, look what's going to happen. Stephen A., LeBron James, they know damn well what they're doing.
Right.
It's the hype machine, dude. They're just trying to do it for ratings.
Well, first of all, Stephen A. Smith's doing it for ratings because that's what he's about.
And LeBron's doing it
about
too. He wants attention.
But LeBron doesn't win this battle.
He wants attention.
He's incapable of winning this battle. July 26th on our chat, powered by MCS General Contracting, says, we need to hear more from LeBron James because we've heard about Stephen A. Smith yapping for 22 years. Let's hear more from L. James. Again, he goes on the Pat McAfee show to air his grievances about Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
Now, there are going to be some people who go, well, he's protecting his family, all that stuff. But to me, this proves why he's not the GOAT.
Yeah, well, just stop with the pleasantries. Just go out there, go on your own Instagram, go live, and talk your shit, LeBron. Talk your shit. You don't need a platform like ESPN. You already have a worldwide platform. People know your name. Why not go on Instagram Live and do that? You know why? Because this motherfucker wants an audience. He wants that stage. That's why he's doing it.
He does want that stage. But the thing is that stage a good thing for him? LeBron James right now is the NBA all-time leader in points. He beat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record, which stood for like 2 or 3 decades, right? He's 22 points shy of 42,000 points. LeBron James had 32,000 points. He's going to have, Michael Jordan had 32,000 points, 10,000 more than Michael Jordan, right? LeBron has more points, more assists, more rebounds, but Michael has more respect, more rings.
different eras, man. Michael played in an era where you get your head taken off and it wasn't a foul.
Right.
You know, you get bloodied, you get cut up, you know, broken nose, all this stuff used to happen. It was like basically a rugby match out on the court. You know, different time, different era. This one, the league wasn't soft. You know, now the league is all soft. It's about the players. You can't breathe on them. You can't play defense. And LeBron James says, I'm the GOAT. I'm the GOAT. How?
You can't proclaim yourself to be the GOAT. Okay. Only rappers can do that. Now, you know the name Emmanuel Acho, right? Former UT star.
Yeah.
He is on Fox Sports FS1. You use the word soft, right? This is what Emmanuel Acho had to say about being soft. He's not talking about the players being soft. He's talking about the media being soft as well, pointing at Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
Yo, sports analysts and opinionists, myself included, we got to stop being so soft. If you want to have an opinion, you can't be soft. Pick a struggle. I'm looking at all this LeBron James, Stephen A. Smith beef, and analysts need to get called out at times, and we need to get checked too. And with all due respect, half the times, analysts that simply sit behind a desk and never played a game, they're not really the athlete's friend. You talk about athletes, so you think you friends because you got loose lips, but half the time you're not really an athlete's friend. Furthermore, if we have the audacity to get on national television and spew our opinion, because more often than not, people on TV aren't analysts. They can't really break down the game because they never really played the game at a high level or don't really understand the game because they haven't taken the time to truly learn the game. So if you're going to speak an opinion on something and it will more often than not be inaccurate, you got to be able to deal with it when an athlete claps back at you. You got to be able to deal with it when an athlete calls you out. You got to be able to deal with it when an athlete says something that you may not like, because more often than not, to a national audience on a daily basis, you are saying something about an athlete that the athlete doesn't like. But soft. Why are we so sensitive and so soft?
Emmanuel Acho talking about being soft on his Twitter account. Again, he says they're not friends, right? If you're a member of the media, you're not friends 9 times out of 10 with these athletes.
Yeah.
Right. Brian Windhorse, you know, Windy, he's been following he's been following LeBron James for the better part of a decade.
They can't even fit this brother in his own box, too.
Exactly. LeBron took a shot at him yesterday for no reason. He was like,
he caught a stray.
He caught a stray. Like, he hasn't been doing anything. And so LeBron was like, hey, this whole thing about how me and Brian Windhorse are best friends is not a deal. We don't even really know each other.
Yeah.
You know, so Brian Windhorse, who's made a career following LeBron James, caught a stray. For Emmanuel Acho to say that a lot of these analysts go out there and they have never played the sport and whatnot, that's a good thing. That's a good thing, because in a world where you have these former athletes out there telling them, giving their opinion, that's good. There needs to be a good marriage between the fan and a good marriage between the athlete as well. So I'll give you an example. We watch these games, right?
Yeah.
You had Bill Land and Sean Elliott. You had Toby and Sean Elliott, or whatever the case may be. Notice how you always have one person who's never played the game and someone who has played the game.
Gotta have the balance.
It's a balance between the fan and the athlete, because the athlete oftentimes forgets what the fan is thinking because they're so wrapped up in how the league is and the fraternity that is the NBA, the NFL, MLB. But then the fan will look at the athlete and go, we don't know. We've never done 2-a-days. We've never done a training camp. We've never done a combine and all that stuff. But we're telling you from what we see from the stands.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be a marriage of both. So whenever I see somebody go, well, you've never played the game, you don't know ball. We're just talking as fans.
Oh, I like it when you say that.
We're just talking as fans. But guess who's not a fan of the game?
Who?
The fan of the game is the former athletes. They're not fans of the game. They're protectors of the game. It's two different things. We did see Chris Leha from MCS General Contracting with a great comment, by the way. He says they want to call LeFraud the GOAT because of his scoring record, but they never call Kareem the GOAT, and he has more chips too. So go kick rocks, LeBron stands. Agreed. Now, for many, many years, I've considered Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to be the greatest NBA player of all time, the best NBA player of all time. The greatest is Michael Jordan, right? Because Michael Jordan elevated this league, okay? Prior to 1978, games were on tape delay.
Yeah, true enough.
You know, the game was already over, and then they put it on TV, right? Then you had Larry Bird, Magic Johnson going at each other in the late 70s, and they go into the league together, and then they start that battle between the Lakers and Celtics, which was great, Showtime Lakers and all that. Then you had the Bad Boy Pistons, and then Michael Jordan took it to another level. Okay, that movie Air on Amazon Prime, Jason Bateman, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, talking about how Nike made Michael a star. Last night, I was at the Woodlands Mall just outside of Houston, and I went to several stores. I went to Dick's Sporting Goods, I went to Foot Locker, and I went to a couple of other shoe stores, JD and another one, right? Guess what I saw? I saw the Jumpman logo.
Oh, yeah, everywhere, man.
Okay. That Jumpman logo, which Michael Jordan did not create, Nike did, is iconic, lives forever. What is LeBron's logo? I don't even know. Is it somebody whining and crying? I don't know what it is.
Cramping up, somebody cramping up.
There's no, there are two logos in NBA. When I think of NBA logos, I think of Jumpman, I think of Jerry West.
Yeah.
Right? Because the actual NBA logo is Jerry West dribbling the ball.
Yeah, rest in peace, the great Jerry West.
Right.
Man.
And I would even go number 3 is probably Dr. J.
Yeah.
So LeBron James will never be the GOAT. He can score 50,000 points. He can play until he's 50. No one will ever consider him the GOAT. And when I say no one, there will be people who do, but the vast majority of people won't, because we all remember Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Yeah.
And Michael Jordan took this. LeBron James gets paid the money that he gets right now because of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan took this into the stratosphere. Okay. And maybe the WNBA gets taken into that with Caitlin Clark, because Caitlin Clark is bringing eyes to the table. And you know what? Now there's talk about a labor strike in October with the WNBA.
Yeah.
And if that's going to be a thing that kills the momentum of the WNBA, or if it's something that is actually needed, that's a different conversation for a different day.
We got a super chat coming in here. Didn't forget, but we were talking. This is from Jason Garcia, our good friend Jason Garcia over in Portland right now, Portland, Oregon. He's giving us a $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you, Jason. Appreciate the support.
Is your birthday officially tomorrow?
Birthday is officially tomorrow. Today is my last day in my 40s. I am the ripe old age of 49.
Dude, we need to do that thing. We put like a 5 or a 20 on you and just walk around all day.
Why
long.
not a 50? Put a 50 on me for 50.
You know what? Do we need to ID people like those waitresses who have that? Because I got a feeling that they could do that once a month and no one would know the difference.
Yeah.
But let's hear that grito for your 40s, man.
Yeah,
come into a close.
And that's what Jason said. Here's $5 grito for Joe's last day in his 40s. Appreciate you, brother. Here we go with the grito.
Presumir a mis amigos les conté que en el amor.
Oh, it was a good time. It was a good run, right, Joe? Your 40s.
Good run.
I mean, it's gonna come to a close for me in a couple of years.
Look at that. LeBron's logo is a stretcher.
It's him being carried off the court because he cramped up.
Look
at the AT&T Center back in the
Big
day.
Sean Petey says, we beat LeBron so bad, he caught menstrual cramps. The infamous debacle that was the NBA Finals when it was the Spurs versus Le Cramp.
I was at that game, dude.
It was hot.
I was at that game, and I'm showing the photo right now on my screen.
Let's go ahead and see it.
Oh, my God, dude. Dude, like, come on, man. You can't be the GOAT and that happen.
At the Frost Center at that time, you know? What were they doing out there at the AT&T Center? They were passing out free water, right? But they wouldn't open the doors or nothing like that to the concourse. It was hot as hell. It was like a sauna there.
Yeah.
Everybody suffering, sweating to death.
This is funny, dude. This is funny. Do you want to get into the WNBA? Because JHNSB says your girl Angel Reese, LSU star, college champion Angel Reese, is the ringleader of the riot, Mike, about the WNBA. So the WNBA, they want to have more money, right? So it's kind of a weird thing, man, because In some respects, you look at it and go, well, you turned a profit for the first time ever this past year. So they were propped up for 25 years when it came to the WNBA subsidizing the WNBA.
Yeah.
Now they're turning a profit. It so happens to coincide with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Paige Beckers is coming in. You know, you have Sabrina Ionescu. You've got some stars out there, Kelsey Plum. You know, you've got a lot, and you've got some that are coming up that are going to be rookies this upcoming year. So now you've got star power when it comes to the WNBA. And it's American star power, which the NBA doesn't necessarily have. So here's the thing. There are going to be a lot of sports fans out there who are really just women haters who are going out there and going to be like, well, these people don't deserve a lot of money because they got propped up by the NBA. But guess what? They were being propped up by the NBA before they were born.
Yeah.
It's like, where are we now in this whole situation, right? Does the WNBA, because again, WNBA is owned by who? The NBA. Does the NBA want to kill the momentum? The maximum contract for the WNBA is ridiculous, Joe. They basically earn teachers' salaries. Okay, maybe not. Okay,
Teachers' salary.
The average salary, I believe, was like $75,000.
What do you say, Mike? If you're not happy with how much money you're making,
go make more. But that is why Becky Hammon played in Russia.
oh,
That is why.
God.
That is why Brittany Griner was in Russia, because they actually pay them real money. They play in the WNBA because they want to play in front of their friends and family. They want to play stateside, right?
Yeah.
But according to the AI overview, in 2025, the maximum player salary is $214,000. Now, there's a rookie scale as well. If you were to get paid what you're actually worth, I would bet you that players like, I don't know, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, the big draws, Asia Wilson, all them, probably deserve to be in the $1 million range or more. But the maximum being 214 with a supermax of 249. And again, the average is probably around 100,000. And it's not 82 games.
Yeah.
Okay, it's about a little bit more than half that. But they go elsewhere. They go elsewhere to play ball because they make more money over there. But now that it's profitable, they're going to play chicken with the NBA. Here's where it's different, Joe. Here's where it's different. We see all of these labor strikes that happen, and what happens when the labor strikes happen? All the owners got to do is say, wait till they stop getting paid, right? NBA players, NFL players, they might make $5, $10, $15, $20 million a year. They're all paycheck to paycheck, right? Because a lot of them, we saw that 30 for 30 on ESPN of Bernie Kosar and Andre Rison and all those guys who lost so much money
living outside the means, Mike.
Because they had all these friends that they couldn't say no to. They had all this family. They bought all these houses, failed businesses, all that stuff, lending money out, and they're paycheck to paycheck. You take away an NBA player, an NFL player's money for 2 or 3 months, they broke. But that's not the case with the WNBA. Because the WNBA is where they go to make their spare money. The stars are making their money in Russia. They're making their money in Germany. They're making their money elsewhere. You take away a salary of $100,000, they'll be able to withstand that. Because they're not buying mansions, Joe. They're not buying Ferraris. They're not out there lending money to people or spending lavishly, because the WNBA players, guess what, Joe? They're probably more responsible.
They said Mike hates is anti-union. That's what Midtown Texas is saying.
No, I'm supportive of unions. I am pro-union when it comes to a lot of different things. Because I tell you what, though, big business ain't doing it for you. Big business cares about their pockets, not yours.
At the end of the day, it's all about profit, right? Profitability. So how much money does the WNBA make compared to the NBA? And then these players want to get paid the same. Well, if you want to get paid the same, that would mean you have to have equal ratings, for one. 2, you'd have to make the same profit margin that the NBA is making in order to be able to, sustain that.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's not the case, then you get paid what you get paid. You know what? If you want to get paid more, do better. Get more ratings.
So they were asking the question, NBA did not make any money. The WNBA has to filter 40% of their money to the NBA. Okay, so they got to pay their people before they can turn a profit on themselves. So there's enough revenue coming in to be profitable,
but not as profitable as the NBA.
You got to pay the overlords. Joe, I'm sorry, Joe. The WNBA right now, especially with Clayton Clark, Angel Reese, and Asia Wilson, and all these people, guess what, Joe? It's becoming as popular as the NBA, and no one wants to hear that.
If it is, then where's the money?
Well, see, the thing is, Joe, is that's all done by contracts that are years in advance. NBA deals are not done. WNBA deals and TV contracts are not done on an annual basis. They're done on a 4 or 5 year basis. So they're trying to go ahead
and sustain themselves by doing, I don't know, getting sponsorship or whatever. It's like you said, Mike, what? If you're not making enough money?
Okay.
Go out there and work more.
If you're McDonald's right now, okay, McDonald's, and you had to spend money on, let's say it's advertising of $10 million with the NBA or $2 million with the WNBA, I would tell you this much. It is more advantageous for McDonald's to go to the WNBA. Because the thing is, Joe, whether you want to admit it or not, the WNBA is the one league that is actually ascending. Every other league right now is descending for whatever reason, right? Football descending a little bit because there's Patrick Mahomes fatigue. NBA descending because there's LeBron James fatigue, Black Lives Matter, whatever you want to do. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why people are not watching that, right? Same for the NFL, Colin Kaepernick taking the knee and that pissed people off, whatever. Major League Baseball, because more of a Japanese influence. I mean, look at the LA Dodgers. 3 of their biggest stars are Japanese, don't even speak English, right? MLB going down because people aren't watching MLB games on TV anymore. But the one league that's ascending, we all thought it was going to be MLS, right? We all thought it was going to be MLS. All I see on TikTok right now are former like MLS stars like Landon Donovan complaining about how no one's going to the games anymore. The only league that is NASCAR is down in ratings. Golf is down in ratings. It's Tiger Woods. Now that you see tennis there with Roger Federer retiring, Rafael Nadal retiring, those ratings are going down. The only sport that's going up in ratings, Joe, is the WNBA.
I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to push back on you a little bit. And what do we have? I have my saying. I'm going to die on that hill. Women lie, people lie, numbers don't lie. Here are the numbers right here. NBA versus WNBA. Highest paid player. Steph Curry they have right now, $55.8 million per year. WNBA, highest paid player. Jackie Young, right? $252,450 per year. Average viewership, this is going to 2023. We haven't updated the information yet. We'll look at more updated info, but at the time, you had regular season, you have 1.6 million viewers watching the playoffs, 5.47 million viewers in the finals. Total, it's around somewhere in the neighborhood of 11.64 million. Regular season for the WNBA, 505,000. Playoffs, 400,000. Finals, 728,000.
That's 2023, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at 2024 right now.
Now let's see what it is.
2024 right now. It jumped up 170%, whereas on ESPN, the average WNBA game was 1.2 million viewers.
Okay.
And that there was a game between Caitlin Clark, Indiana Fever, and Angel Reese, Chicago Sky that had 2.3 million viewers, Joe. They are now getting the viewership of about 75% of what the NBA does. Now, the NBA, don't get me wrong, NBA right now gets their money. The salaries aren't paid for by the people who go to the games, the Frost Bank Center. The salaries are paid for by the TV deal. So the next TV deal that comes up for the WNBA, it's going to be robust. It's going to be big because they're going to look at it and go, dude, I remember going to a bar at La Cantera.
Okay.
During the college basketball games with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and South Carolina and all that stuff, right? Dude, everyone was watching the game. I went to that bar again a week later. March Madness. Men's,
Mhm.
no one cared. No one cared.
It's all about the storyline, man. And
It's all about the players. Joe,
it's the story too, man.
Joe, let's name the star players. Cooper Flag, right?
Yeah.
Okay, name another one. No one can name another one.
What are you gonna say? Nobody cares.
No, because no one can identify with these guys.
There's no beef between them. When there was beef between Caitlyn and Angel Reese, right?
because they played for 4
they
years.
played for 4 years, but there was beef between them. You know, doing that little kiss or whatever they were doing. You know, when they were losing and one won or what have you, little shade thrown
Mhm.
both ways. I mean, there's a history there. It's a storyline between both players, and they were polarizing players in college, right?
Right.
Good players on good teams going up against each other at the highest level. Great. You know, everybody liked to see that kind of stuff. You know, no doubting that. But there was a storyline behind it.
If Larry hadn't been playing Magic for so long in college, it wouldn't have carried over and bled into the NBA.
Yeah, it's a storyline.
If they were one and dones, or straight from high school like Kobe,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have mattered. Drew Show coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you for the support, Drew. Saying, Jimenez, you're a fiduciary and you make an inflammatory statement. Do you even know when the collective bargaining agreement expires for the WNBA? 2027. One thing I do know, Joe. One thing I do know, Drew. What's that line? Have you ever seen the movie The Founder with Michael Keaton about McDonald's?
I saw it before.
Okay. He says something to the effect of contracts are like hearts. They're made to be broken.
And look at you got another $5 super chat from the Drew Show here. 1 year of profit should be blown on a 2028 contract agreement. That's fiduciary. The owners, come on, Mike, you can do better than that.
No, because I'm pro player when it comes to it all. If you outperform, okay, for any other job performance, Joe, if I am bringing in more revenue than everybody else, I want to get paid more. We see this in the NBA, the NFL all the time, Major League Baseball. We see holdouts, right? Why do we see holdouts? Because people outproduce their contract. And as a league, they've outproduced their contract. And the NBA makes so much money for the WNBA to come around and say, and it's not like the WNBA has 30 teams like the NBA does. For the WNBA to come out and say, hey, we need some more scratch. Double us up, baby. Triple us up. Because there might be a time, Joe, and I've never thought this would ever happen. We might be 5 years away from the WNBA equaling the NBA when it comes to TV ratings.
No, I don't know if that'll happen.
Dude, Joe, look at the people coming out of college. There's a lot of names, star power names coming out of
beyond
college.
Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. When that dies down, what's going to happen to the numbers, the ratings at the end of the day?
They're
going to
just
level
started.
off.
They're in their
I
second
know they're
year.
going up right now because of all the hype that was surrounding both players. But when that dies down, what's going to happen with these ratings? They're going to level off.
Dude, Paige Beckers, Olivia Miles. You've got some big names coming in that are going to be part of the WNBA and that are getting better. And they're attaching themselves to names that are already there, like the Kelsey Plums of the world. And
we got another
all that
super chat.
stuff. Super chat coming in from Sam Salinas. Sam Salinas says nobody cares about who's coming out of the NCAA because the Bolt, nobody develops, nobody makes a name. They're all done and not ready for the NBA when they come out of the league. That's it. And that's why the WNBA is going to be a superior product. Because they play 3 or 4 years in college. You get to know them. You get to have the rivalries. And then you have you add the transfer portal, Joe. You add NIL. It makes things interesting.
I want what Mike is smoking. Sam Salinas says.
Haley Van Lith from TCU is also going to be in the 2025 draft as well. These are names that you might not be a WNBA fan, and I'd be lying if I said that I was. But I have watched more WNBA ball the last 24 months than I did the last 23 years. Prior to that, that's for damn sure.
Black bucket, dude. He said,
well, bottom line, no. He's not talking about the WNBA.
No, I know
He's
that.
talking about the NBA by saying,
that's what
bottom
I'm
line, nobody wants to watch bad basketball. That's a fact. What has the NBA turned into? The NBA has turned into the Boston Celtics shooting the ball 71 times in a
game. Why have the ratings gone down?
Because it's bad basketball. It is bad basketball. Speaking of bad basketball, the Spurs are back in action tonight taking on the
Why?
Cleveland Cavaliers. You like the transition?
Can we just fast forward to the end of the season? God, I'm tired of this shit, dude.
You want to go to the end of the season? Let's show my screen. Here's NBA Tankathon right now. Right now, the Spurs are drafting number 9 heading into the lottery, right? So before the ping pong balls come out, we were at 40 losses. We're right behind Miami. So if we lose tonight, which we should because we're playing Cleveland, the best team in the NBA, we'll be at 31-41, tied with Miami. But Miami has a big game tonight. Miami, I believe, is taking on Orlando, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, the Atlanta pick going to the Spurs right now is slated to be number 16. But Orlando and Atlanta are half a game away from each other. The Spurs can leapfrog there and go to number 15. And then if Atlanta does not make it into the top 8 of the Eastern Conference after the play-in tournament, that pick falls into the 10 or 11 range, though. So we're going to be cheering for whoever Atlanta is playing later on, right? But the Spurs play to take on Cleveland tonight.
Let's look at what the Spurs have coming up. They got the Cleveland Cavaliers today at 6.
Oh, yeah, they got a gauntlet right now.
Celtics on Saturday.
Then Golden State.
Golden State. The Magic. They got the Nuggets. The Cavaliers again. Trailblazers. Clippers. Warriors. Suns. Raptors.
Oh, I'm like Joaquin Phoenix and Gladiator right now, just licking my lips at all these losses. Tasty.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, they need to do the right thing and just start shutting players down, man.
Now, Cleveland favored by 14.5 points tonight. And I see what you're saying. But the big games tonight for the Spurs, Hawks at the Heat. Heat favored by 1.5 tonight. That's a 6:30 tip-off. Spurs tip-off is at 6 p.m., so it's an early start for the Spurs. Other games of note, Trailblazers taking on the Kings tonight in Sacramento. Rockets at the Jazz. Grizzlies at Thunder. Lakers taking on the Bulls. That's a big game. We want the Bulls to win that game. Kind of solidify us in that 8-9 spot in the draft.
Look at that, Sam Salinas. Mike is throbbing over these losses.
Oh, so people are all over me about that Locked On Spurs episode with Jeff Garcia talking about the apology forms for Mitch Johnson. It's so funny. Remember, you know how Chris Leha from MCS General Contracting earlier was talking about the fact that people want to give LeBron James the GOAT status because he beat Kareem's record, but no one ever considered Kareem to be the GOAT. But it reminds me of the situation involving the Spurs because it's like you expect them to win when they don't have Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox. And it's like, how does that compute? It's like Mitch Johnson sucks because he lost so bad to the Cavs. I'm like, well, they're also the number 1 team in the WNBA, in the NBA rather, and we have our 2 best players hurt. So here's the thing. Every win that Mitch Johnson gets, he should get credit for. But every loss he gets should be expected.
Yeah. I mean, this was already a shitty team when they had Wemby.
Right.
They have Fox. They're still a shitty team.
Mm-hmm.
What do you all expect them to do when you don't have Wemby and Fox in the game?
Exactly. Speaking of Chris Leha from MCS General Contracting, let's show him some love. MCS General Contracting. You're wearing the hat. Why?
Wearing the hat.
Diamond Hard Concrete. That's why.
MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
Diamond Hard Concrete, baby. Diamond Hard. Hey, was watching something earlier today on TikTok. I thought it was kind of funny.
Oh, God.
Well, it's sports related. So if you want to show my screen, I think it's kind of funny. There was this guy who had a Babe Ruth autograph. It was authenticated and all that stuff. And he had it on a piece of paper. And he noticed that the paper had a lot more room on it. And I don't think this is the one that he had, but this could be the one that he has. But I saw it on TikTok, right? It was this collector. And this collector decided, he goes, you know what? I have this Babe Ruth autograph. What should I do with it? Because oftentimes you have a Babe Ruth autograph. If you have other players around it, it's whoever he played with at that time. But he made it a mission to have a GOAT status autograph collection. So he took that piece of paper with Babe Ruth's autograph, and he went to a memorabilia event that Tom Brady was at.
Yeah.
And he showed Tom Brady the autograph. And he goes, I'll give you a trade. Autograph your name right next to Babe Ruth. I'll give you an authentic ticket stub of the San Francisco 49ers NFC Championship game, the one where Dwight Clark caught the ball in the back of the end zone against the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you that. Just autograph my piece of paper. He goes off and gets that piece of paper signed, and he goes, great, I have the GOAT in baseball. I have the GOAT in football all on one page. Went a step further, went to another event, got Wayne Gretzky's autograph on it.
Oh, man, there you go.
And then he goes off again, and he's like, who do I get next? He got Lionel Messi.
Wow.
So now this one sheet of paper has the autographs of the GOATs, and I believe he may have gotten Jordan's also.
Jeez,
and it's considered to be one of the greatest autograph finds ever because it's just one of those things where it's all put together.
Ain't that something? I bet you one day it's
I would
gonna
never.
sell.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's all authenticated.
Yeah.
I mean, he has photos of it all. The Babe Ruth one was done a long time ago. Now, Sam Salinas says Messi's not the GOAT, but this guy's not going to go to Europe to go get it, right? I mean, what are you going to do? Who gives a crap about Pele, right? You know, Messi is the GOAT of right now, right? He's very, 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 very popular.
They're still talking about Mitch as a dumpster fire. Dumpster juice. I'm not saying that he's a great coach, man. I don't even know what he is right now because we haven't seen him for a full season.
We don't know.
I just don't think he's it, dude. Like I said before, Spurs fan would not be opposed to Jason Kidd coaching this team.
But he won't ever be because
you just never know.
He has those Spurs DNA.
What are they going to say? Oh, I want Steve Kerr.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, I know they would. But I mean, at the end of the day, Steve Kerr, what is he? He's all right.
I mean, Steve Kerr has championships.
It's because of the talent that he has over there at the Golden State. That's not even his talent. That was Mark Jackson.
But Pop has said the same thing. Pop has said he's a failed coach without Tim Duncan. I can't think of championship teams that don't win without talent.
Okay.
2004 Pistons.
Steve Kerr comes over
Chauncey
here.
Billups was the best player on that team.
Steve Kerr comes over here and coaches this Spurs squad. What do you think's going to happen?
500 record?
Playing? And then what, instantly get bounced?
Probably. But because we need talent. And we haven't developed the talent that we have here. And then the talent that we do have is just height. Like Keldon Johnson. Keldon Johnson's the literal definition of height. Devin Vassell, I mean, he plays like a stud every once in a while, but he's more often than not. You know, so you look at it, and it's all about efficiency anyway.
Yeah. We'll see who the Spurs have as their successor.
But here's the thing, Joe. I had not thought about it until I said it a couple of days ago on Locked On Spurs. No. 3 coaches in 3 seasons for Wemby if they get out of Mitch Johnson.
And what happened with Fox? He wanted out because they kept changing coaches on him.
Right. But he gave at the office. He was there for almost a decade.
Yeah.
In Sacramento.
But I'm saying they're doing the same thing to Wemby.
They are.
Keep losing.
They are. Now, one of them is acceptable in the sense that Pop had a stroke. So it's not like, but then again, you could also say, well, maybe the Spurs should not have had a 75, 76-year-old coach.
I said they should have moved on with Pop years ago, and I got raked over coals for it. And now look what happened.
Yeah. Joe, there's a Texas representative named Jasmine Crockett who apparently is having backlash for calling Governor Greg Abbott Hot Wheels. And it's so funny because there's nothing serious about what goes on in Washington, okay? Democrat or Republican, they all hate each other, right? So my favorite aspect of all this is the pearl clutch that people have. Oh, my God, she called him that when, you know, you have Trump who calls, you know, everybody something, right?
Yeah.
You know, it criticizes war heroes, criticizes the disabled, all that stuff, right? But she's not the first person to call him Hot Wheels. And first of all, that should actually be patented by Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott should sell merch referring to him as Hot Wheels. That is not an insult. That is a compliment to him.
I call him Professor X from the X-Men, dude. Either way, fuck that guy, dude. What the hell has he done?
Leha says conservatives mad as hell. Who the real snowflakes now?
Liberal Mike is back. He's back, and we got an incoming $5 super chat from the Drew Show. He's back, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
He's here to cook. He's saying Mike doesn't know about Mitch, so he's willing to blow 2 or 3 years of Wemby. He says, so he's here to blow out 2 or 3 years of Wemby to find out if he is. Solid takes this morning.
Well, it's one of those things where you have to ask yourself the question, are you wanting to take that leap, right? I'm going to give you an example, right? I know somebody who was dating a girl, and he liked her well enough, right? They were dating for a little while, liked her well enough, but wanted to play the field after a while, right? When you're in a relationship with somebody for a certain period of time and then you want to play the field, it's kind of a dicey situation, because you can in one respect say, we're not married, right?
Yeah.
Is Mitch Johnson the head coach of the Spurs? Yes or no?
For now.
No, he's not the head coach of the Spurs. He's the interim head coach.
Bruh.
So they're dating him still, right? But if you're dating a girl for 6 months, 7 months, you turn around and say, well, you know what? I want to kind of play the field a little bit, but if I don't find anybody better, I'm going to come back to you. You know what most women will do? Throw you the middle finger, right?
Yeah.
They'll throw you the middle finger because that makes no sense, right? Makes no sense. So what's going to end up happening is if the Spurs go out to play the field a little bit, Mitch Johnson's going to take offers from elsewhere. And there will be another team that wants to get him. And guess what? If you can't find another date as good or without the upside,
what's his name going to be?
His name's going to be gone. But, you know, if you're dating a girl and you want to keep her around, but you want to go play the field and then she's gone and you can't find anybody better, guess what you do? Guess what? You're all alone. So the Spurs better have somebody in their back pocket if they're going to go play the field who wants to be here, who's better than Mitch Johnson, who has more of an upside than Mitch Johnson. And if that's the case, great. If it's Steve Kerr, great. Yeah. If it is something like that. But if it's an effing retread like Brett Brown, if it's a retread like Mike Brown, if it's a retread like Mike Budenholzer, I know they got chips, right? One had Giannis and one had LeBron. I understand that. But those guys don't get me excited. Ime Udoka would get me excited.
You know what'll get you excited? This shit happening, dude. Early morning news. Can you imagine? You're watching this, right? You're waking up at 5 a.m. Broken fire hydrant, spraying across the highway.
Yeah.
Look at this crap. Look at the way old boy's standing, dude. Come on. Like nobody noticed this at the station, dude. Like they tell your boy to move.
That is funny.
Oh my god. That's almost as funny as that was the name of that guy that one time on Channel 29 where they're saying happy birthday shout outs, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, Chupa. My name is Chupa. That guy's goated, man. And then the damn picture he put on there. And that lady, Ashley Sutton, goes on there to say happy birthday to Chupa mi verga. Damn it, man.
So do you know who Cam Smith is? And I'm not talking about the golfer.
No. Who is that?
Cam Smith is a 22-year-old baseball player. Let me give you his bona fides here. Okay. 22 years old. He's a third baseman. He played college baseball at Florida State. Started 51 games, hit 12 homers, 36 RBI. He went on to enter the 2024 Major League Baseball draft, where he was drafted by the Cubs in the first round, the 14th pick in the draft, right? Got traded to the Astros in December. His name is Cam Smith. Remember, they've already lost some star players, Bregman being one of them. Cam Smith, remember that name. He goes out to spring training this year and just balls out, just hitting homer after homer, bet over 300 in the spring league. And people were asking the question, dude, is this 22-year-old going to make the team? This is somebody who played single A baseball last year, did well, made his way to double A baseball, did very well. He went back and forth between 3 teams in the minors last year, kept going up the ranks. First round draft pick in 2024, right? So the big question for the Astros was, is he actually going to make the team, or are they going to move him to AAA? Well, the announcement was made a couple of days ago, and I think this is beautiful. This is the Astros locker room, and they're talking about who's making the team and who's not.
Dream was one day I became a major league manager. I wanted to make this special for someone, and I'm about to do that. I always said, like, if someone tells me, Joe, you're going to the big leagues, who will be the first person you will call? Who will be the first person you will call? I say my mom, my dad, my family, right? Because I think you want to share with someone who's been there for you from day one. Little league, travel ball, good days, bad days. So we're about to do that right now. So I'm going to make a phone call to someone, and that someone's going to come out here. It's got a special announcement to do, okay? Let's see if I can find this number.
This is cool.
Hello? Are you here? Okay.
That's Cam Smith crying in the background.
Is that his mama?
Greeted by his loved ones, his family, as they told him that he made the pros.
Nice.
He made the big leagues.
Oh my God.
That's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
That's a big
That's
deal.
a beautiful thing to see. For his family to be there, because, you know, as the manager was saying, you know, normally you make the bigs and you go call your mom,
Yeah.
you call your dad, you call your girlfriend, and here they had all his loved ones there to be there when he found out. And for them to say, he says, I'm going to call this person right now, and for him to be in his locker room and for his phone to buzz and to be told, hey, you're a Major League Baseball player. You're 22 years old. You were playing college ball a year ago. You were a first-round draft pick a year ago. You did so well in the minor leagues, and you crushed it in spring ball. Cam Smith, remember that name. He's gonna be good, dude. And I actually have tickets to go see the Astros play the Giants
Tomorrow, isn't it?
Well, the season starts this weekend, but I'm gonna watch. I think Thursday. Actually, it's today. But then I'm gonna go watch the game against the Giants Monday at Dakin Park. It's no longer called
Minute Maid.
Minute Maid. Charlie Hernandez saying a moment to remember forever. It was beautiful, dude.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. I almost cried. Sam Salinas saying, I've said before, Mike, Astros front office knows what they're doing. The reason they let the likes of Bregman go is because they already have a replacement somewhere in the locker room or the farm system. That's a D1 girlfriend checks out. JNSB.
Necios.
Demon JHNSB.
And what was the saying? Remember that thing that I asked earlier in the week about relationship advice? These girls ain't dating no scrubs, Mike. It was funny too, because like when I asked Carolina and you asked Chica,
Yeah.
Carolina's I ain't dating no scrubs.
I mean, that's it, dude. I mean, just you know, feed them,
Yeah.
provide for them, and make their eyes go to the back of their head.
You said no demon Mike.
No, it ain't Demon Mike. That's real talk, Mike.
Oh, Mike.
Mario saying that this is when reminds him of when Rudy made the play roster, except that Rudy was a fake movie and this was real life.
Rudy.
That movie sucked, dude.
Oh, Rudy with special needs, though, man. Come on, Mike.
You know what? He wasn't special needs.
Yes, he was.
He was just small. That doesn't make him
Oh,
special
Mike.
needs.
Go back and ask Chica. She's gonna ruin that movie for you. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Go back and ask her.
I almost bought an Astros jersey yesterday at the Woodlands Mall. People calling me Space City Mike. Almost bought that jersey, but then they told me that the new jersey comes out on Monday. That the first home game, or I don't know if it's the first home game, but they're not releasing them for the public until Monday. So they said be here at 11 a.m. So guess where I'm going to be at 11 a.m. Woodlands Mall, to go get that jersey, or actually noon after the show, right? But no, I'm excited to go to the game. Dropping my Rangers fandom. Chica's going to become a Spurs fan. I told her, she says that she wants to have flashy Spurs gear.
She wants it to be blinged out, or what?
She wants it to be blinged out. Homegirl likes. I asked my girlfriend her favorite color. She goes glitter. She goes, I don't care what color glitter. She likes it shiny.
Oh, I do like Chica. She is funny, dude.
Yeah,
she is funny.
That's funny, dude. Let's give some love to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. Again, the Spurs play tonight, 6 p.m. tip-off. It's the first game of the night in the NBA, taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow, not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
Now today on Locked On Spurs, Danny Cunningham, who covers the Cleveland Cavaliers at the Inside Shot, will be on Locked On Spurs. They're going to be posing the question, do the Spurs have a chance against the NBA's top-ranked team, the Cleveland Cavaliers? Devin Vassell's also being interviewed about accepting the challenge when it comes to stepping up defensively.
Oh, bro, I'm tired of this dude, man. You got it, Devin. It's all right, bro. It's all right.
And he's also moderating a debate about Stephen A. Smith. We talked about this earlier. That's kind of funny.
You know what? We do got some breaking news I'd like to share with you. I just saw this right here. Look at this. This is being reported by The Score. And it says Aaron Rodgers is reportedly considering sitting out the upcoming NFL season.
He can sit out the rest of his career.
And this is being
okay.
reported or heard through Adam Schefter.
First of all, Aaron Rodgers isn't what he used to be.
No.
We're seeing this right now with Dak Prescott, right? Dak Prescott blows out his leg, and he is no longer mobile. And being mobile is what made him good. It wasn't so much that he was a running quarterback. It's that he could run.
He could scramble.
Patrick Mahomes is the same way, right? Patrick Mahomes is not Josh Allen.
No.
He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not even Danny Dimes.
Not the fastest guy out there, but he can scramble.
He can, scramble, just buy some time.
Yeah, get a couple more yards.
Without that, he's nothing.
Yeah.
He's nothing. And Aaron Rodgers right now, without the ability to be mobile, is a sitting duck out there, and he's not any good anymore. He's not any good anymore. Show my screen real fast.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson being introduced as the New York Giants QB1. He says, dude, I don't care who you guys draft. I don't care who you draft. I'm QB1 here. I'm the captain now. Jameis Winston, hold my clipboard. Out there with Sierra. 1-2 step.
Hey. You know what, man? We got another incoming super chat here. Drew Show.
Yeah, it says Rudy was a real guy, Mike. He was just played by a hobbit. Mike continues to bat 200 on today's show. He does slump buster. Grito me. Okay, well, first of all, before you do that, Joe, Rudy Rudiger, I was 1 foot away from him in Phoenix, Arizona, about 2017, 2018. I was at a convention out there. 2016, he was a keynote speaker. And you know for a fact that this guy is full of crap, right? Kind of like the guy who was they made the movie about Catch Me If You Can. Mostly full of crap too, right? Yeah. They made a name peddling themselves and pumping themselves up. Rudy Rudiger was like 1 foot away from me. And they're like, hey, he's right here if you want to go shake his hand. I went like this. Nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. I don't need it. Don't need it in my life. But he paid for the grito. He wants the grito.
He
Drew
gets
Show gets the grito. Here he is.
What do we say? $5 and up, right? He sure enough
Sure
paid more than
enough.
five
Sure
today.
enough.
Por presumir a mis amigos les conté que en el amor.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. You know what that sounds like, Joe?
What?
That sounds like the sounds of money, right? When we get that grito, you know. And there's some people who are pro grito, some who are not pro grito.
Yeah.
I've learned to embrace it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's no longer too ethnic for me. Those boots that you described at one time, still very, very, very ethnic. Mario Cavas is asking the question, are the Spurs going to lose by 40 or 50 tonight? Wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it.
Well, look, we'll go ahead and put this in there. He's like, what was the worst Spurs loss in history, right?
Mhm.
Points wise. Well, we're kind of going to have to revisit that there. And this is being shown by LandOfBasketball.com. They had at one time Spurs losing by a margin of 47 against the Los Angeles Lakers in the 85-86 season. 135-88.
Jesus.
And then in 1988-89, they lost to the Phoenix Suns by a margin of 46 points, 137-91. You know, and then you got the Boston Celtics beating the Spurs in the 2022-2023 season by 44, 137-93. And then they lost by the same amount of points here, 44 to the Dallas Mavericks in the 88-89 season, 126-82. And then they rounded off with the Toronto Raptors in the 2022-2023 season, 143-100.
That's interesting. I went to one of the worst losses in Lakers history back in the day. This is not a tall tale. My uncle took me to the Forum to watch the Lakers play back in like the 90s. And they played the Indiana Pacers. And that night, Reggie Miller and Chuck Person went the F off.
Jeez.
They were the Rifleman and Reggie Miller went off. Somewhere in my parents' house, I have a photo of Chuck Person and Reggie Miller looking at me, holding like they're like arm in arm, you know, like over the shoulder type of thing. Because I called their name from like the fifth row. I wasn't sitting in the fifth row. What ended up happening was Jack Nicholson and all them left in the third quarter because it was such a blowout. They lost by like 40 points. I think the final score was like 114-87 or something like that. But it was like a 40-point lead at some point, and then down the stretch it got down to like 20 some odd points. But by the time they were taking out the players in the fourth quarter, the entire bottom bowl of the forum was emptied, and I made my way to the bottom. And it was a timeout, and they're talking, and they actually, I don't think they posed. They were kind of in that position anyway, but they looked at me when I called their name, and I took a photo of them with that. That was pretty cool. It's somewhere in my house, somewhere in my parents' house, that photo. Hannibal Fifth saying, cap alert.
Man, you should have a book. You should write a book, Mike's Tall Tales.
Do you know what's interesting? I got to meet Julio Franco back in the day when I was 12 or 13 years old. Joe, when I was 13 years old, going into 8th grade, my parents took me on a surprise trip. We went to Washington, D.C. This was back in the day when you could go and tour the White House, right? Actually walk through the White House. So I managed to walk through the White House with my family. It was a tour and all that stuff. My dad surprised me because I was a big Rangers fan at that time. And across the river, 30 miles away, is Baltimore, and the Orioles were playing. So I got to watch Cal Ripken Jr. play, and they played the Rangers. Well, Julio Franco had just won the MVP he had just won the MVP at the All-Star weekend like a week or two before.
Yeah,
and I don't know much Spanish, but I asked my dad, like, how do I say this? Or I asked my mom, how do I say this in Spanish? Like, congratulations, whatever. and I told him congratulations in Spanish, not stuff. And he smiled, and I got an autograph from him. That was pretty cool. That was also the weekend I became a Babyface fan, because I remember going to a hotel that weekend, and you know how back in the day, Joe, remember it was like, go make friends.
Yeah.
You know, you go to like a resort or whatever, go make friends. I went and made friends with people who were like, hey man, we're listening to Babyface right now. I became a fan at that point.
Look at this. Remember, we're talking about what logo does LeBron James have, and our good friend Chris Leha puts Le Fraud logo, the cramping logo.
Leal says he was a big Rangers fan then. Now he cheers for the Astros. Flip-flop. I'll admit this flip-flop. I'll admit it. Dude, I mean, baseball doesn't mean much to me anymore. It really doesn't. I used to live and die by baseball. Baseball, I was an Oilers fan. I was a Rangers fan. I was a Spurs fan growing up. And I remember watching all these baseball games, you know, whether it be the Mets, Dwight Gooden, you know, Darryl Strawberry, Lenny Dykstra, watch the Cubs with Leon Durham and Andre Dawson, go off and watch Dale Murphy and Maddox and Smoltz and Glavine. I mean, I was all about it. Then I watched the Rangers with Nolan Ryan and Palmeiro and Juan Gonzalez and Pudge Rodriguez. That was my baseball watching years.
Yeah.
When they lost the World Series of the Cardinals, I was so heartbroken that I really stopped watching at that point. So it's been about, 15 years, 12, 15 years since I've really given a damn about baseball.
But maybe you should.
Well,
because guess what? You know what? It's
starting
opening
today.
day.
It's opening day. Who do we got?
Here's a docket for tonight, man.
That's right. Because I was saying, hey, the season doesn't start till Thursday, but it is Thursday.
It is. It's opening day, brother.
You know, I mean, I guess I now have a team to cheer for. I guess. Conroe is such a weird place. I was talking about this with Chica yesterday because we were at Dick's Sporting Goods, and Dick's Sporting Goods, you know, if whatever the home team is, you've got like jerseys for, right?
Yeah.
So if we were to go to Dick's Sporting Goods at La Cantera or the one on 410, we go in there, you guys see a lot of Cowboys gear, Texans gear, UTSA, UT.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you're going to see, right?
You'll see some Rangers and Astros gear.
Mm-hmm. But those are the local teams.
Yeah.
We were at Dick's in Conroe yesterday. There was a massive UT, A&M, Baylor gear section. They had a pretty decent sized Texas Tech one as well. But I asked Chica, how far is Waco from here? I don't know.
She's like, I don't know.
And she goes, oh, it's a 2.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
So I'm there thinking to myself, man, what a weird situated town that is. It's 2.5, 3 hours from Dallas.
Yeah.
It's 3 hours from San Antonio. It's 3 hours from Austin. It's 3 hours from Waco. It's an hour and a half from downtown Houston, depending on the traffic. It's a weird place, man. It's like so weird situated. I started looking at these houses in a town called Magnolia, which is going closer towards San Antonio.
Okay.
I would probably be 2.5 hours from every area, every city, if I moved there. That was kind of funny.
Hey, we also have some games going to be popping off later on today. NCAA men's tournament gets back on track here. So you got BYU versus Alabama.
Oh, dude, BYU, man, those Mormons can play.
That's going to happen at 6:09 today. The next game, 6:39, Maryland, number 1, Florida. You got Arizona versus Duke. That's going to be an interesting one.
Yes, it will
and
be.
then, of course, you got number 10, Arkansas, going up against number 3, Texas Tech. Who do you think's going to win this one?
Dude.
Call it, Mike.
Arkansas. Follow the money, dude. Follow the money.
Oh, that's going to happen at 9:09 today. Oh, and then tomorrow you got the rest of the games popping off here. You got Ole Miss against Michigan State, Kentucky versus Tennessee, Michigan versus number 1 Auburn, which is going to be a good one at 8:39. And then you have Purdue, number 4 Purdue, going up against number 1 Houston.
Houston barely survived that game against Gonzaga.
I think Purdue's going to upset them, dude.
Purdue's a scary team, dude.
Yeah.
You know, they will what's fundamental you to death. Hey, look at my screen. Here is the ESPN front page, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to get to baseball, right? NFL, right? Makes sense. It's the number 1 sport. It's the first tab. Then it goes to NBA. Then it goes to NHL. Then it goes to men's basketball, college basketball. Then it goes to soccer. Do you know where baseball is?
Where?
Under more sports.
So what are you saying, Mike? Nobody cares?
I'm saying we're getting there. We're getting there. Like, more people care about MMA. But what's weird about it, though, is that it's so geographic, because you go on to you go to these games in where they have Major League Baseball, right? It's a big deal over there. It's a big deal over there. If you have a team in your city, by the way, Chicago White Sox, saw an article,
Yeah.
has the fewest over-under for wins in 30 years. Their over-under is 54 wins. So they're anticipated to lose 108 games this year.
Jeez.
It's the lowest one in like 35 years. But it's big. The Astros are big in Houston. The Rangers are big in Dallas. You know, the Cubs are big in Chicago. But if you don't have a team in your city, no one cares. That's the problem with baseball right now. Brewers taking on the Yankees. That's the first game, 2 p.m. first pitch. That's going to be on ESPN. Orioles take on the Blue Jays. The Phillies taking on the Nationals. Red Sox and Rangers get at it in DFW. Pirates against the Marlins. A lot of afternoon games. Giants, Reds. Angels taking on the White Sox. Guardians at the Royals. Astros open up at 3 o'clock today. 3:10 p.m. first pitch against the Mets. Braves at Padres. Again, we're the farm team. San Antonio Missions into the Padres.
No.
Twins at Cardinals. Tigers at Dodgers. Cubs at Diamondbacks. That's a 9 p.m. first pitch. And then also the last game of the night. Wherever the A's play right now. Was it Sacramento, Fresno, Bakersfield, wherever they're at? Taking on the Mariners in the Pacific Northwest.
And you know,
by the way, if you bet on baseball, you're a degenerate.
Oh, come
That's
on.
the stupidest sport to ever bet on.
Why?
Is baseball. I mean, it's so stupid. It's like there's so many different things going on, and even the bad teams win more often, win a third of the time. I guess you're betting the underdog. I've never seen anybody bet baseball and win money, like, consistently.
Look at this. We got some breaking news here. It says the Los Angeles Sparks are going to retire Candace Parker's number 3 jersey.
Nice.
On June the 29th. That's being reported by ESPN, as told by Ramona Shelbourne.
Candace Parker, big name for many, many years in when I think of Candace Parker, I think more of college ball than I do WNBA. But Candace Parker, regarded as one of the best players of all time. Again, she played for the LA Sparks from 2008 to 2020, 3-time WNBA champion. She also played in China as well. So, I mean, she made her money elsewhere. Played for the Chicago Sky for a couple of years, ended her career with the Las Vegas Aces.
Yeah.
She's one of the all-time greats. 2-time gold medalist. I mean,
she's going to become the 3rd player to have her jersey retired by the LA Sparks. The first being, or one of them being Lisa Leslie, and then their general manager, Penny Toller. And now it's going to be Candace Parker.
Yeah, but Candace Parker, when she played at Tennessee, was a big deal.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, that was college basketball. I mean, there were, at that time, there were only a few good teams, and Tennessee was kind of the dominant force at that time.
It says, do we cover slap boxing? No, not yet.
What about arm wrestling? Well, I mean, we'll talk about the movie Over the Top if you want.
Yeah, we don't cover the obscure sports like that.
Yeah, the Ocho. I was going to go with that too, Joe.
The Ocho.
Joe, last day of your 40s.
Yeah, it is the last day of the 40s, man. Going to be 50 now. And again, you know, we're going to be partying it up. We're going to have a good time on the weekend. I already got the table reserved and all that. Talked to the people over at Pete's Place and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and, you know, pay the $50 or whatever it is to get the table reserved. Then I'm going to pay that on the day that I go ahead and see everybody. But again, everybody's invited to come out and celebrate my 50th. I'll go ahead and put the flyer back up. We're going to be celebrating at Pete's Place. You know where that's at. It's at 14743 Old Bandera Road. Party starts at 7. We're going to be watching the Spurs Celtics game, probably college basketball, and whatever else the hell we want. And I know maybe you'll make it. You and Chica. I know Sean will be there.
Trying to get Chica out there.
Some of my other friends will be there. Maybe some of the Area 210 podcast Nestials will be out there. I'm looking at you, Mario Cavazos, Elias, and Chris Leja. Talked with Chris yesterday. He might go out there for a little bit as well. Come out and have a couple beers with me. I invited my friend too, DJ LG.
Nice.
I think I'm gonna invite Puma too. I haven't seen Puma in a while.
That sounds like a great time. If I'm in town, I'll make it. But if Chica can't make it, it's gonna be difficult, man. So it's all incumbent on Chica at this point for me. We'll end the show with a mock draft, Joe. CBS Sports released a 3-round mock draft. They have the Cowboys in the first round taking Matthew Golden, wide receiver out of Texas. Right? I think Cowboy fans would be excited about that, right? They have in the second round, Cowboys taking Jonah Savania, offensive tackle, guard from Arizona. Kind of makes sense, right? Third round, they have the Cowboys taking a safety named Andrew Makuba from the Texas Longhorns. I can see that happening, but there's no running back there, Joe.
Yeah.
There's no running back. I'm interested in seeing where they have Jackson Dart going. And they have Jackson Dart going. I saw this on another mock draft earlier today. It wasn't even CBS Sports. I saw this on another site saying that Jackson Dart going 21 to the Pittsburgh Steelers makes sense. Because, I mean, if their starting quarterback this year will probably be Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you need to have a backup there at some point. Jackson Dart. Rising up a lot of mock drafts right now.
Yeah. You know, I invited Heffett to the party this Saturday, too. He's going to see if he can go ahead and make it. But I tell you, it's outside the boundary, Mike. So hopefully he can get out.
Right. Tim Gonzalez asking an interesting question. Asking the question, if I had to referee a game today, which one would I want to referee? I'm looking at it. I would want to referee Arizona Duke. I mean, just to say, you know what? Arizona Duke would probably be the one that I want to do for today's games. For tomorrow's games, if I could officiate a game, I would officiate Purdue Houston. That's a lot of up and down action right there, man. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm a referee anymore, Joe.
You know, call it a career.
It was a 15-year career in refereeing.
Call it a career.
I'm cashing my last check today, man. I hadn't checked the mail in a while. I had some checks in the mail. I think I'm going to call it a career.
You're going to go to the Woodlands, go spend time with Chica.
That's the thing, man. We don't know where we're going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking all over the place, dude. We're looking at the Woodlands. We're looking at, we're going to start looking in Bulverde. We just don't want to be in a city.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one, too. I want to kind of live on the outskirts. Looking to buy some property, build a home out there.
Yeah.
Looking for the quiet life now, Mike. I'm tired of being in the urban jungle.
I just don't want to deal with it anymore, dude. I just want to be away from people.
It's too much with the traffic all the time. Even going anywhere, got to wait. The lines are long over here. Anywhere you go, because of the influx of people that are coming. They keep building stuff out here. It's like they're just stacking people on top of people on top of people. It's just too much.
And certain communities get bombarded with new people, right? Back in the day, Bandera and Huebner,
and nothing out there, dude.
There was nothing out there. And then you had this little sleepy town called Helotes, outside of Bandera, right? I remember going to my prom was at the Al-Zafar Shrine Temple.
Oh yeah, there was nothing out there.
There was nothing out there on
Nothing.
1604 and
Pastures.
There's nothing out there at all. I'm trying to think of the cross street, like the Stone Oak area. But we have Leon Springs has now been assumed essentially by San Antonio, right?
Yeah.
San Antonio has gone out to Selma and shirts and whatnot, and it's now moving southward, and it's like a big blob of a metroplex now. Castroville's next, Joe. Castroville is going to be bombarded with people next. You know, if you like Castroville, the fact that Microsoft plans to build a data center over there in Castroville, that property is going to go up in value.
Look at Hanover Fist says, y'all acting like you're in New York. It's not like we're acting like we're in New York. We're just saying like the areas that we live in, the amount of traffic that we have to deal with on a daily is insane because they have too many people in the area that we live at, me and Mike, and it's just too many people and not enough infrastructure. So it's a recipe for disaster. Anytime you want to go anywhere, like Mike even trying to come to over here.
5 miles.
Horrible,
one street,
Horrible.
5 miles. Took me 30, 40 minutes to get over here.
Because you're stuck in traffic because they have construction and they go down to one lane and they don't tell nobody.
Right.
That's
I just want to live out in the burbs, dude. Not even the burbs. I want to live out in the woods. Man, I'm not going to be like Unabomber. You know, I don't want that. But I want an acre or two and just kind of like have some property. And the fact of the matter is, doing what I do for a living in financial services. Put my number up, by the way, since I brought it up. 210-508-0369. 210-508-0369. Financial services, talking about retirement accounts, IRAs, 401ks, annuities, things like that. I'm your guy. Life insurance, disability. Life insurance is a big deal, man. One of my clients became uninsured, and we were able to take his term policy and make it permanent.
Yeah.
That's a big, big deal for somebody who's no longer insurable. It happens about once or twice a year for my clients where they lose their insurability because of cancer, of a diagnosis, or whatever the case may be, an accident, stroke. It happens. You can always get life insurance, Joe, until you can't. Okay.
Until you're dead.
So there's a chat in here. Someone says Michael's right. I want to read it because I didn't read the rest of it.
Hold on. It was up here.
Jimenez is right. No money to be made by betting on baseball, Alex Noriega. Thank you so much for that. People are just talking about, hey, they just noticed that I was in studio, Jesse A. I'll be in studio again tomorrow too, man. So
Appalachian Mike.
I need to make myself a studio no matter where I go. But Joe, I mean, I'm looking at like Bandera. I'm looking at like Bulverde. I'm looking at like Seguin, Luling.
I want to go to Luling.
Magnolia, Conroe. I'm looking at something like that because, I mean, don't be wrong. I have family and I want to be within a couple of hours of family.
Yeah.
But I don't like want to be in the city anymore.
You're going to have a drawbridge to get to your property?
A moat. It's going to be a moat.
God.
But one thing I do know, any bridge created will be built by MCS General Contracting. That I do know for sure.
There you go. They're going to
that I do know for sure.
Diamond hard concrete, brother.
But
that's what's powering the chat.
774-9155. And everyone, come on, man. Send me a referral for financial services. Keep me in business. That's all I ask.
You know what tomorrow's show is going to be?
What's that?
I'm going to go ahead and put up my, I don't know, maybe I should do it, right? I was thinking about it. Maybe I should go ahead and just put up the, what do you call it? Cash App, right?
Yeah.
QR code. So if somebody wants to send me some money, they can't make it out to the shindig we're having on Saturday, could send me $1, $2 or whatever just to buy a beer or something.
Buy you a beer.
Yeah. So there you go.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I have to get out of here. Going to be doing construction at my house. Actually, they're putting up new carpeting in my house.
Nice.
So it's going to be going up for sale. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to take any profit that I make out of it. I'm going to hold on to it and make a down payment on a piece of land. That's the plan. That's what we're doing, man.
They're telling you to ride a bike.
Oh, what did Drew Show say?
He says, "What do you mean you don't know, Mike? It's not Space City, Mike. It's Montgomery County, Mike. It's green, and we have water here, dude."
Dude, I mean, Montgomery County is kind of where I'm calling home right now.
Oh.
My daughter said it best. She says, say that I live in Houston is like saying that living in San Marcos is living in San Antonio. It takes me about an hour and a half to get downtown. When I go to the game, first pitch is like at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. I have to leave 3 hours early to go to that game. Why? Because it's far and also because of traffic. Montgomery, oh my God. Am I going to go supervise the Mexicans?
I saw that, dude. Shaking my head.
I ain't going to do the work.
Look at, I'll buy that distressed property. Take it off your hands.
Just one. Yeah, Mario saying, move to Bandera. Here they love dark-skinned coconuts there. Great, fellas. Great.
Why don't you just have like, you know how you can have your own city? Like you can buy your own city. Mm-hmm. Somebody has abandoned a piece of property out there. Right. And you can buy it and you can name it whatever you want.
I would need to have my own post office if that's the case.
What would you name your own city?
Oh my God. Well, Spur, Texas is already taken because that's where Red McCombs was born.
Okay. What would you name it?
Jimenezville.
Jimenezville. Coconutville. You know what? If I had my own city, my own town,
Yeah.
you know what I would name it?
What's that?
Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Land of the free.
Chica and I have talked about the fact that, we have no debt, so, I mean, we have a car payment. I have a car payment, but other than that, I have no credit card debt. I have no student loan debt. Just have a car payment. Waiting for the next recession and then just buy something when it falls off the face of the earth, dude. Something that rock bottoms out. But Montgomery Mike, because I'm far from Space City.
Look at that.
Cap City.
Miss Bitch said it's actually her birthday or whatever. So happy birthday. She said if I could sing her happy birthday, I'll sing and happy birthday to you.
No,
there you go.
Gotta do it like Marilyn. Happy birthday to you.
Oh God, no, don't do that. That's disgusting.
Happy birthday.
That's gonna stay with you a while, man. And look at that. She says Joe is half black. I guess. Cap City. Well, she's not wrong there too, because I'm half native, right?
Yeah.
The other part of me is Spaniard, and then there's a part of me that actually comes from North Africa. I come from that area, that region of the Berber people.
Nice.
Yeah, that roam the desert and whatnot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I gotta head off. Gotta go manage the Mexicans, as someone said. No, just playing. Kind of, sort of, but not really. Who said that? Who is the one who says manage the Mexicans? Because that's not my phrase. That's your phrase, not mine. They could be white. They could be black. I don't know. Someone's coming to install carpeting. That's racist for them to think that they're Mexican.
What are they though, Mike? Who's putting in the carpet?
I have no idea.
Oh, Mike, come on, brother. I bet you when you get there, you're gonna be like, they're Mexican. I bet you anything tomorrow you're gonna be. Who's installing your carpet, Mike? Mexicans.
Whoever Atlas Flooring is sending, man.
Mexicans. Because tomorrow, that's what we say.
No, because the guy who called me and said he was on his way.
He could have been the supervisor. He could have been white, but the guys that are going to install your carpet, I guarantee you they're going to be Mexican.
I mean, he wasn't like, "Orale, we'll be there at whatever time." No, he was like, "Hello, looking for Mr. Jimenez. Mr. Jimenez, we need a 12-foot space to be cutting carpet and blah 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 blah."
You go over there and you hear the Tejano music. You already know.
Dun dun bump bump dun 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 dun.
You're gonna start tapping your foot, and you're gonna be like, "What the hell's happening?" You're gonna be drinking a freaking Dos Equis, doing a grito, walking around with your cowboy boots on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike. You know they're gonna be Mexican tomorrow. I know you're gonna come in here and tell us." And then what's funny is Leja's always making fun of you. Mike hires the Mexicans to do the work at his house.
Jade NSB says you're gonna sit up there with your hands on your hip watching them, Mike. I'm gonna be like this guy on my screen. I'm gonna be like this guy on my screen, Joe.
El Jefe.
Joe would be like I'm gonna be like this dude.
Yep.
Done messed up.
That's gonna be you. El Jefe.
All right, my man. We did an hour and 40 minutes, man. Good show. Good
Look
show. Hit the
Jeff
like
has
button.
already tweeted this out. He's gonna say cook. I already know.
All right, fellas. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back in studio. Peace.
Peace.